Okay, you should be good.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Welcome, everybody. Humble obeisances to you. Thank you for joining us today. Haribol, Shraddha Devi and Prajasundari Devi on the call, and Madan Mohan. It's really nice to see you. So yeah, thank you for joining. Just before we start, I'll just offer some prayers to our teachers and the Lord, and to pray for blessings. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Siddhantotpala Saranitya Hangsang Vilasatmakam Audaryakya Siddham Sevakathanam Vishramba Bhakti Pradam Yachna Yukti Vichakshanam Tvakapido Vaishishta Shaktya Sada Vandeham Tripurari Namakayatim Shri Bhaktivedantinam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Swami Shri Bhaktivedanta Prabhupadaya Te Namaha Gurvakyam Shirasi Dritva Shaktyavesh Swarupine Hare Krishna Timantrena Paschatya Prachatarine Vishvacharya Praparyaya Divya Karunya Murtaye Shri Bhagavat Madhurya Gita Jnana Pradayane Gaura Shri Rupa Siddhanta Saraswati Nishevine Radha Krishna Padam Bhoja Bhringaya Gurave Namaha Devam Divyatanum Suchanda Vadanam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Purang Sareka Varanam Varagya Vidam Buddhim Shri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Sarasvattanam Varam Vande Tang Shipadam Adeka Sharanam Yashishwaram Shri Dharam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ajanulambita Pujo Kanaka Vidato Sankirtanaika Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishvambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodito Gododaye Pushpavanto Chitro Shando Tamonuto Vandeham Shri Ramakrishna Abhaya Charana Sukho Sukhado Paramanando Sundaro Subalapriyo Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Gauri Vaishnava Guru Parampara Ki Jai Shri Gauri Nityananda Ki Jai Gauranga. Welcome everyone. Just sorry, just faffing around with the controls. So yeah, it's really nice to be back and see you again. Those of you who are on the call know me already. My name is Mohini Dasi, and I gave a few classes on the Tattva Viveka series before last year and the year before on the title of those classes was about exploring the mercy of Lord Nityananda through song and Shastra. And as you may know already, that's my preferred method if I do have to give a talk, is to try to incorporate a bhajan, and then by explaining the bhajan, then it's quite nice, because it's said that all the Vedas are contained within the bhajans of the our previous acharyas and the saints, and there's yeah, there's so much knowledge contained within the bhajans, but they're told in a very sweet and very simple way. So it's always nice to choose a bhajan and explain it. Tomorrow, I'm not sure. I live in England, and in England, in the UK, tomorrow will be the appearance day, or the Avirbhav Mahotsava of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And also the disappearance day, Tirubhav Mahotsava, of Srila Purushottam Das Thakur, who was a great devotee of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And he's also one of the Dwadasha Gopals. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it said that he's the 10th Gopal. And in Krishna Leela, Purushottam Das Thakur is Stoka Krishna. So tomorrow here, it's those festival days, but maybe for some of you, it might even be today. I'm not sure, because sometimes the days are a little bit different. So I thought, since it is that appearance day tomorrow of this very great Vaisnava, or Vaishnavas, that it would be nice to choose a song relevant to that. So today the song that we're going to explore is written by the great Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the father of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, and the song is "Oh Hey Vaishnav Thakur," which is a wonderful, wonderful song, which we're going to look into. So we're going to sing it today in honor of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, and in honor of Srila Purushottam Das Thakur, and in honor of all the great Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, and pray for their mercy in doing so. So to start off, I'll start off with one of my favorite quotes of Srila Prabhupada, which we have this calendar on the windowsill behind me, which each day on the calendar you get like a quote of Srila Prabhupada that he spoke on that day in a particular year. So there's a really nice quote which Prabhupada wrote in a letter in July 1970, and he wrote it to a devotee called Tribhuvanath Prabhu, who some of you may know. He was a British devotee. He passed away now. I think he left his body in about 2003 or 2004. But so this is a part of a letter that Prabhupada wrote to Tribhuvanath Prabhu, and he says, "I am very glad to know you have been staying for some months at our London temple in the association of our devotees. This is certainly the most fortunate company for you, and I know that if you maintain the association of devotees, your life will be happy and perfect. That is the version of the Shastra, that the most important thing for spiritual realization is the company of realized souls or pure devotees of the Lord." So it's yeah, particularly that last sentence is very poignant, that the version of the Shastra, that the most important thing for spiritual realization is the company of realized souls or pure devotees of the Lord. And actually, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta, he famously said that there are always pure devotees in the world, which I think is always very nice to remember, because sometimes we may hear some misconceptions. I have heard sometimes that some devotees may have an idea that, especially like there may be some situations where perhaps someone's guru may have passed away, and I've heard on occasion devotees saying, you know, that my guru was the last pure devotee in the world, and you know, now they've gone, and you know, there are no more. But according to Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta, that's not true. There are always pure devotees in the world, and they bring Krishna to the world. So that's what yeah, that's who we're praying to today, to these pure devotees. So sorry, I've got notes here that I'm looking through to remind me. In the Nectar of Instruction, or Sri Upadeshamrita of Srila Rupa Goswami, there's a very nice verse. It's the 5th verse of the Nectar of Instruction, and Srila Rupa Goswami, he gives instruction on how to offer respect to devotees in different stages, and And it's a very nice verse. I'll just read it for you. Krishneti yasya giritang manasadriyeta dikshashti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham shushrushaya bhajana vigyamananyamanya nindadi hridamipshita sangalabdhya. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, diksha, and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So it's a very beautiful verse, and particularly the last part of the verse where he says that one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So this is the part that we're focusing on today. So you may already know, so that verse refers to 3 different categories of devotees, often called Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. And there's definitions of each of those 3 categories, which I'm sure, again, you probably already know. And if you want to know more about those definitions, you can read the purport to verse 5 of Nectar of Instruction, which explains a bit more. But so we're not going to go too much into the different particular types, but we're focusing on the Uttam Adhikari, or that's described in this verse, because the song is called Oh Hey Vaishnava Thakur. So Thakur is a very esteemed title, like we call the author Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Thakur can refer to the Lord. Sometimes the deity is called Thakurji. It can refer to the Lord, it can refer to a ruler, or it can refer to a great saintly person. But essentially the title Thakur means that all respect to, that person is worthy of all respect. So hence the it corresponding with the Uttam Adhikari. So what we're going to explore today in like looking at the lyrics of the song and introducing it is why this category of saints, these Uttamadhikaris, these Vaishnava Thakurs and Vaishnava Thakuranis, why are these saints so revered, and why are they so honored, and why is he praying in this way to these great saints? So there's a very nice verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 1st canto, 13th chapter, that Yudhishthir Maharaj speaks it to his uncle Vidura, and it's a very beautiful verse. And so Yudhishthir Maharaj says, Bhavad vidha bhagavatas tirtha bhuta swayam vibho tirti kurvanti tirtani svantastena gadabrita. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart, you turn all places into places of pilgrimage. And I'll just read just the first part of the purport that Srila Prabhupada writes. The personality of Godhead is omnipresent by his diverse potencies everywhere, just as the power of electricity is distributed everywhere within space. Similarly, the Lord's omnipresence is perceived and manifested by his unalloyed devotees like Vidura, just as electricity is manifested in an electric bulb. A pure devotee like Vidura always feels the presence of the Lord everywhere. He sees everything in the potency of the Lord and the Lord in everything. So it's a very nice verse, and I mention it because I suppose it's one of the it's such a beautiful verse that he's saying that, you know, devotees like your good self are holy places personified, because they turn all places into places of pilgrimage because of carrying the Lord within their heart. And in the purport, when Prabhupada's saying about like electricity, just like from a light, the electricity is going everywhere and we're able to benefit from it. So in the same way, just by being in the presence of a pure devotee, you get that electricity, you get that spiritual consciousness just by being near them. And it's just incredible. There is just nothing like it in this world. Our Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivedanta Tripurari Swami Maharaj, he says that it's said that the Kripa Shakti, or the mercy energy of Krishna, is manifest as his devotees. So it's very wonderful. There's actually another verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam that I wanted to share with you, again about the glories of pure devotees, and that's from the first canto, from the 18th chapter, and it's the sages at Naimisharanya. They say this to Sutta Goswami, again to emphasize the importance of just being in the association of such devotees. So they say to Sutta Goswami, Tulayama lavenapi nasvargam na punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kim utashishaha. The value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter. And what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. And I thought, if it's okay, I will just read the purport, just to expand a little bit on it. So Srila Prabhupada writes, when there are some similar points, it is possible to compare one thing to another. One cannot compare the association of a pure devotee to anything material. Men who are addicted to material happiness aspire to reach the heavenly planets like the moon, Venus, and Indraloka, and those who are advanced in material philosophical speculations aspire after liberation from all material bondage. When one becomes frustrated with all kinds of material advancement, one desires the opposite type of liberation, which is called apunarbhav, or no rebirth. But the pure devotees of the Lord do not aspire after the happiness obtained in the heavenly kingdom, nor do they aspire after liberation from material bondage. In other words, for the pure devotees of the Lord, the material pleasures obtainable in the heavenly planets are like phantasmagoria, and because they are already liberated from all material conceptions of pleasure and distress, they are factually liberated even in the material world. This means that the pure devotees of the Lord are engaged in a transcendental existence, namely in the loving service of the Lord, both in the material world and in the spiritual world. As a government servant is always the same, either in the office or at home or at any place, so a devotee has nothing to do with anything material, for he is exclusively engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. Since he has nothing to do with anything material, what pleasure can he derive from material benedictions like kingship or other overlordships, which have finished quickly with the end of the body? Devotional service is eternal. It has no end because it is spiritual. Therefore, since the assets of a pure devotee are completely different from material assets, there is no comparison between the two. Sutta Goswami was a pure devotee of the Lord, and therefore his association with the rishis in Naimisharanya is unique. In the material world, association with gross materialists is veritably condemned. The materialist is called Yoshit Sangi, or one who is much attached to material entanglement. Such attachment is conditioned because it drives away the benedictions of life and prosperity. And just the opposite is Bhagavat Sangi, or one who is always in the association with the Lord's name, form, qualities, etc. Such association is always desirable. It is worshipable. It is praiseworthy, and one may accept it as the highest goal of life. So it's really nice, especially, I mean, this last point again corresponds with the quote that we read at the beginning from the letter of Srila Prabhupada, where he was saying that, you know, the most important thing for spiritual realization is the company of realized souls or pure devotees. And again, Prabhupada is saying here that that association, one may accept it as the highest goal of life. So I just thought these quotes from the Bhagavatam are really, really nice. Yeah, so I guess we'll I'll share the screen, and we'll have a look at the lyrics of the song, and we'll sort of go through the verses, the translation and the verses, and then afterwards hopefully we can sing it. So let's see, let's share screen. Oops, I'm going to actually have to ask Madan Mohan to change me back to being the host, because I can't seem to share the screen.
Okay, you should be host now.
Thank you. Share screen, portion of screen. Okay, so can everyone see the words there on the screen? Is that okay? Yep, brilliant. Okay, so where are we? Such a lovely song. So the first verse, so oh hey Vaishnava Thakur. So he's praying, oh hey Vaishnava Thakur, Doyara Sagara, Edase Koruna Kori. So he's praying. So oh hey Vaishnava Thakur, we discussed the meaning of Thakur, this very esteemed title. Doyara Sagara. So it's often the great saints are described in this way. Sagar means like an ocean, Doyar of mercy. So they're described as being an ocean of mercy. I guess like in the same way that we were mentioning before, that the you know, the devotees of the Lord are seen as the Kripa Shakti, or the mercy energy of Bhagavan. And these particularly the Uttama Adhikaris and the Madhyama Adhikaris, who are sharing knowledge about the Lord, sharing Krishna consciousness with the world. And our Guru Maharaj, he explains that this is the current of bhakti in the world, coming through the devotees. And that current of bhakti, that comes into contrast with the current of karma. So he often says that there's kind of like two forces in the world, the force of karma and the force of bhakti. So the force of bhakti, our Guru Maharaj describes as the otherworldly influence. But this force of bhakti is even more powerful and more potent, because it overrides the current of karma. So these devotees are really are an ocean of mercy, like nothing in this world. Then what does he say? Edase koruna kori. Oh, so he's praying. Dase to your servant. Koruna kori, be merciful to your servant. And then he sings, Diya pada chaya, give me, pada, your feet, the chaya, the shade, give me the shade of your feet. Shodho he amaya means purify me. And then in the last line of the verse, he sings, Tumara charana dhori. So your feet I hold, Dhori. I humbly hold your lotus feet. So there's great humility here on the part of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And it's often said, you know, it's described lotus feet, that I hold on to your feet, give me the shade of your feet. So the idea is that the just like the lotus flower comes out from mud, and it rises out of the water and it sits on top. And although it comes out of the mud, it doesn't get touched or contaminated by the mud or by the water. It's sitting on top. So in the same way, the pure devotees, they're in the material world, but not affected by it. So the feet are like the lowest part of the body. You know, they come in touch with all sorts of things. And that he's even praying, like, not just for the feet, but that he's praying, give me the shade of your feet. So again, our Guru Maharaj, because I listened, I didn't realize until yesterday that our Guru Maharaj has actually spoken about this song. So there's a short recording on the Swami Tripurari website of him explaining a bit about this song. So I just listened to this yesterday, and he's saying, so the idea is that what the feet are casting a shadow on must be pretty low. So he's saying so that's the position that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is taking, such humility. And he's trying to get into the, get the mercy of the Vaishnava Thakur any way he can. Like, he's trying to get in, through the feet, get the shade of the feet. And it's very, very sweet. And then he's saying this last line, Tomara Charana Dhuri, that I hold on to your lotus feet, that those lotus feet are like our anchor in the world. And actually, yeah, there's a verse I'm going to share with you. I'll share it in a bit, because it's kind of more, it kind of ties in with the fourth verse, but of this other song of Narottam Das Thakur, this Gauranga Karuna Koro, where he's praying that the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu are like the boat that can, what is it? They're compared to a boat in which we can cross over the ocean of birth and death. So he's praying to hold on to those lotus feet. So yeah, so then the second verse, he's saying he holds on to the lotus feet, that they are our anchor in this world. But then in the second verse, then he goes on to talk, I guess, a bit more about the world and the influence of the world and the pressures of the world, you could say. Because in the second verse, he prays, Chaya Bega Domi, Chaya Dosha Shodhi, Chaya Guna Deho Dase, Chaya Satsanga Deho He Amare Boshechi Sangera Ashe. This verse, I always find this amazing, because like we said at the beginning, how the bhajans are said to, all the Vedas are contained within such simple language. But this second verse of Ohe Vaishnav Thakur, it contains within it the first 4 verses of Upadeshamrita, the first 4 verses of the Nectar of Instruction. So he's praying here, Chaya Vega Domi is Chaya Vega. Vega means like the urges. So the 6 urges. Sorry, let me read the actual translation. Sorry, because I'm looking at word for word. So he's praying, help me to subdue the 6 urges, and Chaya Dosha Shodhi, purify my 6 faults. Chaya Guna Deho Dase, Chaya Guna Deho Dase, on this servant, give the 6 good qualities. Bestow upon this servant the 6 qualities of a devotee. And Chaya Satsanga, give me the 6 kinds of holy association, or the 6 kinds of devotional association. So all these 6s are described in the Nectar of Instruction. So we can quickly go through. So the 6 urges which need to be controlled, Rupa Goswami gives in the very first verse. when he says that a sober person who can control, what are those 6 urges? So the sober person, dhira, he says a person who can control all of these things, they're called dhira, or sober. And he says a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So they're the 6 urges in this world. And then chaya, dosha, shodhi, the 6 he's asking to purify of the 6 faults. So the 6 faults are, the second verse, Rupa Goswami says that one's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in these 6 things. So one is eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. 2, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. 3, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6, being greedy for mundane achievements. So those are the 6 faults that he's praying to be purified of. And then he's asking, bestow upon me the 6 good qualities, or the 6 qualities of 6 qualities of a devotee. This is also a really nice verse. Utsaha, it starts. Utsaha, such an onomatopoeic word. It means enthusiasm. So that's the first of these 6 qualities. So the 6, Rupa Goswami says there are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. 1, being enthusiastic. 2, endeavoring with confidence. 3, being patient. 4, acting according to regulative principles, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. 5, abandoning the association of non-devotees. And 6, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. So that's from verse 3, the 6 good qualities. And then verse 4, where he's saying, Chaya Sat Sangha, give me the 6 kinds of holy association, or so these are described as the 6 kinds of loving exchanges between one devotee and another. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying for those. So those 6 kinds of exchanges are offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasadam, and offering prasadam. They are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. So very sweet, 6 principles of love. So in this one verse, he's put, there's so much contained in that second verse of Vaisnava Thakur. So he's praying to the Vaisnava Thakur for all of these things, and then I particularly love the last line of that verse where he says, "Boshechi sangera ashe." That it means Boshechi means that I've sat down here. Sangera ashe. Ashe means in the hope, sangera, of your association. I've sat down here in the hope of having your association. And I always really like that mood, because it's to me it seems like that in itself is like a mood of confidence. We read that's one of the 6 principles, right? Endeavoring with confidence. But the way that he says that, Boshechi Sangera Ashe, that I have sat down here hoping for your association, and it's just, to me it shows that very nice confidence that I'm just going to come and sit down right by you and just hope against hope for some of your association. It's really nice. Yeah, so it's just wonderful, wonderful, that second verse. And then so we'll move on to the third verse. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Ekaki amara nahi paya bala Harinam Sankirtane. Ekaki, eka, alone, only one, alone. He sings, Nahi paya bala, nahi, I don't have any bala, any strength on my own to Harinam Sankirtane, to chant the holy name of Lord Hari. Alone, I don't have any strength. Tumi kripa kori Shraddha bindu diya deho Krishna nama dhane. Tumi, you, kripa kori, being merciful, Shraddha bindu, Shraddha, we know what that is. We've got our Shraddha Devi on the call today, Shraddha, the faith. Shraddha bindu, just a drop of faith. Shraddha bindu diya, give me, please give. Deho Krishna nama dhane, the great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. So sorry, I'll read the translation properly there. So he's singing, alone, I do not have the strength to perform Harinam Sankirtan. Being kind and giving me just one drop of faith, bestow upon me the priceless treasure of Krishna Nam, the priceless treasure of the holy name of Krishna. Yeah, again, his humility, again, it's really coming out here that he's understanding that alone, we're very weak on our own. It's very hard. We don't have the strength to carry on things on our own. So he's begging to give just a drop of faith from the Vaisnava Thakur with which to obtain this great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. And you know, for a lot of us in the stage of our practice that we're in, we may not be at the stage of Nishta, not at a steady stage. And sometimes we're kind of up and down. And sometimes when we chant our japa or try to become absorbed in the holy name, sometimes we can really, really focus and really experience something of that great treasure. But sometimes, many times, we may chant and we may not experience it, or we may be distracted, or we might take it cheaply, and we might forget what a great treasure it is. We may forget that you know, that really it's the most important time that we have, the time that we are with Krishna, the time that we're chanting. But the Vaishnava Thakur, these Uttamadhikaris, they are always conscious of that great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. Sorry, I'm just so yeah, so as I say, so these great devotees, they are conscious of that great treasure and of that being the most important time, and it's by their own attention to chanting and to their sadhana that they have progressed to such an exalted stage. For example, like our Guru Maharaj does say sometimes that sometimes when he's been asked about, you know, how he has made such progress, and he says because he always took his japa very seriously. And so I guess it's a good lesson for us. But in the same way, that's why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying for that drop of mercy, so that we can attain that great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. Praying to give us that little bit of faith, that drop of faith necessary. It's very wonderful. Oh yes, there was something that I heard when I was listening to our Guru Maharaj speaking about this song. One thing that he said about this third verse is that he compared it to the second verse of the Shikshashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Nam namakari bahudani jasarva shaktis tatrapita niyamita smaranena kala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durtaiva mitrishami hajni nanuragaha. Oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. So Guru Maharaj compared this verse to that he's saying that he doesn't have the faith in the holy name, and in the same way Mahaprabhu is praying that due to Durdevam, he says due to his misfortune or to his anarthas, that he doesn't have that faith in the holy name. And that's why the second verse of the Shikshashtakam, in the terms of the stages of bhakti, that the different verses of Shikshashtakam correspond to, then the second verse is said to correspond to 3 stages of bhakti, to sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, and anartha nivritti, particularly because Mahaprabhu is saying that that's what's stopping him from actually taking full advantage of the great mercy of the holy name. What's stopping him is his own anarthas. So again, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's praying there for just a drop of faith to actually obtain this great treasure. And then, so we'll move on to the 4th verse, where, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's praying, Krishna se tomar, he's yours, Krishna is yours. Krishna dite paro, you are able to give him, dite, you can give him, you are able to give Krishna. Tomara shakati ache, tomara shakati, the power is yours, that is your power that you are able to give Krishna. Amito Kangala, it means indeed I am wretched. I'm wretched. Krishna, Krishna Boli, and I'm just crying. Krishna, Krishna, Dhai Tava Pache Pache. That Dhai means I'm running. Tava Pache Pache, behind you. I'm just running behind you, crying, Krishna, Krishna. It's just so sweet. It's just such a sweet mood. Again, I'll read the translation properly. So he's saying, Krishna is yours, so you have the power to give Krishna. I am only a beggar, running behind you, calling out, Krishna, Krishna. So it's said that there are, in the beginning of the Nectar of Devotion, in the beginning of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it's said that there are 6 qualities of pure bhakti, 6 qualities of pure devotional service. And those 6 qualities, they can be sort of categorized in 3 portions, like the first 2, the second 2, and the third 2, that correspond with the stage of sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. So the first quality of pure bhakti is kleshagni, that it burns up all miseries. And the second quality is that it is the beginning of all auspiciousness. So those 2 qualities are manifest in sadhana bhakti to some degree. All of us practicing, we have all experienced that practicing bhakti burns up the miseries of this material world. The third quality is that it puts one in transcendental pleasure. And the 4th quality is that it is rarely achieved. So those next 2, they correspond with the stage of bhava bhakti. And then the 5th quality of pure bhakti is that it derides even the concept of liberation. And the 6th quality is that pure devotional service has the power to attract Krishna. And so those last two qualities, they are manifest in prema bhakti. So Prabhupada writes in the Nectar of Devotion, Krishna is all attractive, but pure devotional service attracts even him. This means that pure devotional service is even transcendentally stronger than Krishna himself, because it is Krishna's internal potency. So who is Krishna's internal potency? It's Sri Radha, Srimati Radharani. So she's transcendentally stronger than Krishna himself. But so it's very wonderful. So in terms of it's said that Krishna has 64 transcendental qualities. Obviously he has many more, but 64 are outlined. And I think they are in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but I know that I've read them in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So perhaps it's coming from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, I'm not sure. But so one of Krishna's 64 transcendental qualities is that he is submissive to love. And it's also said in teachings of Lord Chaitanya that Srimati Radharani has 25 transcendental qualities. And one of those transcendental qualities is that she always keeps Krishna under her control. So again, very sweet, but just to kind of emphasize this point that Krishna is always under the control of love. And these pure devotees, these uttamadhikaris who have this pure love for Krishna is under their control. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that you have that power to give Krishna, which they do. So it's just, you know, something incredible. And then he's saying Amito Kangala, so that he's saying that I'm wretched. And so in this translation I just read, it's compared to a beggar. I'm just like a beggar, I'm just a wretched person, just running after you, calling Krishna, Krishna. Again, showing the great humility of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but also like seeing his position, or our position in this world. You know, that it's like we read in the second verse, we have all these pressures and pullings of the world. And this is where I wanted to share a verse from this wonderful song of Narottam Das Thakur, this Gauranga Karuna Koro, just emphasizing our position in this world. Narottam Das Thakur, he sings, Pode Chibava Tufane Nahi Kanishta Shri Charana Tarani Dane Dase Korupa. And that means I am plunged amidst the violent hurricane-stricken waves in the ocean of this material world from which there is no escape. Kindly give me the gift of your divine lotus feet, which are compared to a boat in which your servant may cross over the ocean of birth and death. So it's a really beautiful song, Gauranga Karuna Koro. But again, like just to emphasize like our position in this world, that there really is like no escape, like our Guru Maharaj is saying about the two forces in this world, karma and bhakti, that like when someone's just under the influence of karma, there really is no escape. There really isn't. And it's only, it's literally only by the mercy of the devotees that there is any escape from the predicament that we're in. So we really do want to try to pray with that mood of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, to just beg for their mercy and beg to just hold on to their lotus feet, beg for their association, and just beg that we could you know, realize the great treasure of Krishna Nam. So I think we shall sing the song, and I guess, yeah, everybody else is muted, and unfortunately, I'm sorry, but I'll have to keep you muted, because with Zoom, it doesn't quite work when you have the call and response. Everybody comes in at different times, but please do sing the response from where you are. Yeah, we'll sing the song through. And then perhaps I'll just read the translation quickly through, just straight through, just so that it's a bit more cohesive. So, O He Vaishnava Thakur, you are an ocean of mercy. Being compassionate upon this servant, purify me by giving me the shade of your feet, which I take hold. Help me to subdue the 6 urges and purify my 6 faults. Bestow upon this servant the 6 qualities of a devotee and give me the 6 kinds of devotional association. I am waiting in hope of attaining your association. Alone, I do not have the strength to perform Harinam Sankirtan. Being kind and giving me 1 drop of faith, bestow upon me the priceless treasure of Krishna Nam. Krishna is yours, so you have the power to give Krishna. I am only a beggar running behind you, calling out, Krishna, Krishna. Srila Satchitanandamoy Thakur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. So let's sing. I'll have to try to do both the call and response myself. So I'll try and sing it a little bit slow so I don't get too out of breath. Okay, Jai. Thakur ki jai. Jai Guru Maharaj. Oh hey Vaisnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Erase Karuna Kori. Oh hey Vaisnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Erase Karuna Kori. Diya Para Chaya, Shodho He Amaya. Diya Para Chaya, Shodho He Amaya. Tomara Charana Dori. Tomara Charana Dori. Oh He Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara. Erase Karuna Kori. Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara. Erase Karuna Kori. Jaya Begadumi, Jaya Dosha Shodhi, Jaya Guna Dehodase. Jaya Begadumi, Jaya Dosha Shodhi, Jaya Guna Dehodase. Jaya Satsanga Deho He Amare. Jaya Satsanga Deho He Amare. Boshechi Sangera Ashe. Boshechi Sangera Ashe. Oh He Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara. Edase Karuna Kori. Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara. Edase Karuna Kori. Ekaki Amara, Nahi Paya Bala, Hari Nama Sankirtane. Ekaki Amara, Nahi Paya Bala, Hari Nama Sankirtane. Tumi kripa kori, Shraddha Bindu diya. Tumi kripa kori, Shraddha Bindu diya. Deho Krishna Namadane. Deho Krishna Namadane. Oh He Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara. Edase Karuna Kori. Oh He Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara. Edase Karuna Kori. Krishna se tomara, Krishna dite paro, tomara shakati ache. कृष्ण से तुम्हारा कृष्ण दीते पारो তোমার শক্তি আছে আমি তো গঙ্গালা কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো গঙ্গালা কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ভাই তবা পাছে পাছে ভাই তবা পাছে পাছে ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর এলাসে করুণা করি ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর এলাসে করুণা করি Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare O Hey Vaisnava Thakura Doyara Sagara Edase Koruna Kori O Hey Vaisnava Thakura Doyara Sagara Edase Koruna Kori Srila Sachidananda Moy Thakur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Shri Vaishnava Thakur ki jai, Shri Vaishnava Sangha ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo, Gauranga jai. Stop sharing the screen. And yeah, thank you so much everybody for your attention and thank you for being here. Does anybody have any comments or questions or anything that they'd like to share or any corrections or yeah, I don't know if anybody share anything. Yeah, Shweta Devi, please. Hare Krishna.
Well, thank you so much. There's so many things you can say about this song and our feelings about this song, but to me, let's just say 3 words: beautiful, powerful, and important. And and we can say that in the Mahabharata that Krishna recognized somebody like Vidur because he went to his place to eat, you know, a meal instead of the other Prince Duryodhan, you know. So that was good because it's always nice to see an example of how Krishna responds to how we are in this mood of the song, you know. Krishna does respond. And also maybe, I don't know, but it's just a question really. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I do not have the strength and I do not have the faith, really in that sense, but just by saying that, he does have the faith and he does have the strength in the sense by reaching out. I don't know what you think of that.
I think that's brilliant. And I think that's a wonderful point. Yeah.
That's, you know, those kind of things are going through my mind, and I do have a different tune to this, but it doesn't matter because whatever tune you use, the same message comes out by him, by words, these powerful words, beautiful words. So, you know, thank you, because it's my favorite subject, bringing it out in song.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
glad you talked. I'm glad you talked about saying that, you know, it does contain what's in the Vedas. So, you know, this is the age, isn't it? By you can sing the kirtans and the bhajans and still get that knowledge as well as the inspiration and everything from, you know, so much from songs in this age. But it's, yeah, thank you so much, and look forward to another call, you know, and another song at some point. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Shraddha Devi. Thank you. That's so nice. Yeah, it was such a wonderful point. Yeah, that in that third verse, yeah, when he's saying like, I don't have the strength. Actually, that he does have that faith because of the prayer. Actually, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also forgot to say actually before I did start singing. Yeah, I usually do sing it in that melody that I just sang it, but I've noticed actually that most other devotees, when they sing it, there is a different melody, and it is more of a I don't know how you'd say it, more of a I don't know how you describe it, that but yeah, more of a, I guess, like a calmer sort of melody. But I suppose once I heard one devotee singing it in that particular melody that I just sang, and it just sounded so joyful that that's why I really like singing it in that way. Whereas perhaps the other melody may be seen in more of like a sort of a longing, not lamenting, but you know what I mean, like a kind of a more of a longing way, which is also very beautiful. But I quite like the joyful aspect of that tune.
Thank you.
Yeah, but thank
Thanks
you
for
so
that
much.
different
Thank you.
tune.
Oh, wonderful.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So yeah, I guess I don't know if there's anything else. Otherwise, we can wrap it up there. It's been an hour, and yeah, and thank you also, because I didn't. Ganga Shakti Devi's joined us as well, so thank you so much for joining as well, Ganga Shakti. And yeah, I can't wait until I can see you all in person again soon, and get your association. And yeah, just thank you so much. And I'm not sure who's giving the class next week. I've forgotten. Maybe Shyama Sundar, actually.
No, I think Doyle Nitai next week.
Oh, sorry. Then the following week is thank you, Madan Mohan. Thank you. Also, Doyle Nitai Prabhu will give class next Thursday. And then the following Thursday, I think, will be Shyama Sundar, continuing with the 24 gurus from Bhagavatam. But okay, so yeah, I'll leave it there. But thank you so much, all of you. Of my humble Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya vajapatitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And to our beloved Guru Maharaj. Thank you all so much for being here. And I wish you all the very best in your bhajan and your chanting and everything, and in your seva. And lots of love to you all. Gauranga. Haribol.
Mohini Devi ki jai.